Hey, welcome back to the channel and another Sudoku. Today we have quite a large rule set. This is somewhat similar to the one I just did. What'll probably be a couple of days ago for you guys, but for me, I think it was yesterday. Called Seven Wonders. This is I guess maybe the next step up from that one. So this one is called Junk Drawer by Thymalfasin. And we have literally the junk drawer. So everything, pretty much most of the main Sudoku rule sets that you can get. Excuse me, I was holding back a sneeze there. So let's get into these rules because it's going to take a minute to get through them. So we've got odd and even. So cells filled with a gray circle must be odd. Cells filled with a gray square must be even. Thermometers, cells must increase moving away from the thermometer. So we've got a couple of thermometers. So this would be the lowest digit as we move up to the tip. We got a palindrome line. It's a line, not a lime. So cells on the palindrome contain a sequence of digits that is the same when read forwards or backwards. Just these are the same digits, these are the same digits, etc., etc. Killer cages, cells within dashed line cages must sum to the indicated value in the top left corner of the cage. We've got one cage down here, so these four digits need to equal 17. Little killer, cells along diagonals indicated by numbers outside the grid must sum to that value. So we've got two of them. I can't highlight them because they're outside the grid, but this one, this diagonal right here, these digits must sum to 18 and 44 for this one. Oh, actually, this one down here, this is 7. Then we've got sandwich sum. So cells between 1 and 9 in the indicated column must sum to the indicated value outside the grid, which is this digit up here. So wherever you have your 1 and your 9 on this column, the digits in between must add up to that given digit. And we've got Kropki dots, so black dots between cells indicate that these cells must be in a 2-to-1 ratio. So these black dots, so if this was a 2, let's say this could be a 4 or a 1, because they're in a 2-to-1 ratio. And white dots between cells indicate that those cells must be consecutive. Not all dots are given. So like here, these just have to be consecutive, 3, 4, 7, 8, something along those lines. And we've got arrows, so cells along an arrow must sum to the indicated value in the circle at one end of the arrow. We've got a couple of arrows, but let's use this one here as an example. These two digits must sum up to equal whatever is in this bulb. Next, in line, we've got a between line. So cells on a between line must be strictly between the values in the indicated circles on either end of the line. Looks we've got one large between line. So these two cells, whatever those digits are, every digit in between that's on this line must be in between those two digits. And then finally, we have x and v. So cells separated by an x must sum to 10. So these two digits would sum to 10. Cells separated by a v must sum to 5. So these would sum to 5. And not all x's and v's are given. So a little bit long-winded, but there are quite a few to get through there. So those are the rules of junk drawer. Let's get started on this thing and see where we get with it. Where's the best place to start? I guess would be a good thing because there's a lot going on in this puzzle. We can either start on the between line, I think would probably be a good one. There might be enough to kind of get an idea, but maybe we'll wait on that for a second. We've got some Kropki dots that coordinate with V or X cells, because those could be interesting. How about this 7? This is actually somewhere. We have a definite idea of what actually is going on here. So we've got a 7. So these 3 digits have to add up to 7. There's only one way to do that in normal Sudoku rules, and it didn't say on here that they were normal Sudoku rules apply, but we're going to assume that is so because it didn't say otherwise. So the only way to create 7 and 3 digits is 1, 2, and 4. Now this clearly can't be a 1 or a 2 because it's on a thermo. So it has to at least be 3. Well, the only digit it now can be is 4. So that removes the 4 from the equation on both of these. That 4 has to be consecutive with something, and it's on a thermo, so it has to be, well, the digit that it's consecutive with is lower than 8 on the thermo, so it has to be the 3. What else we got? We've got this 1-2 pair, which means this digit here on this X is either 8 or 9. And that 1-2 pair on this V means we either have to have a 3 or a 4. Now, where else can we continue to go with this? Well, this 1-2 also shows an 8-9 here. I don't know that this 3-4 is going to do much good on this one. It's gonna, well, it doesn't do a whole lot here either, does it? Because this could be 1-2 or 5 or even 6, so it seemed like a good place to start. I'm wondering if there's anything we can continue to do on that one, or if we need to use these digits that we've received to kind of look elsewhere. Because I don't think we're going to get too much more on this thermo. I mean, we can write in what they could be. They could be 5, 6, or 7, and these could be 6, 7, or 8. The 9, we can't place it really anywhere. Okay, so I think that's kind of where we can get with this one for now. Let's look elsewhere to see if we've got anything else doing. I mean, I don't know if this is helpful, but we have a V on a palindrome line. I don't know why I keep saying lime. It's a line. What that means is that these two digits equal 5, so these two digits equal 5, but that's not all that useful, I don't believe. We might be able to do something with this Kropki dot setup, because we know Kropki dots, black Kropki dots that is, can't have the digits 5, 7, or 9 on them. So they could only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. Now we can pare that down on this line, because we can't have 8 on here. Excuse me. Because we would have to have 8 and 4, and we're already at 12. And we'd have to add another digit to get to a single digit, which clearly doesn't work. So these can't be 8. Now this could still be a 6, 3, and this could be a 1 to equal 9. So that is possible. This cannot be 6 because we've got a V here. This can't be 8 or 6 because we have a V here. So we do have the possibility of this being a 3, 6, 3. Now this can never be a 1, because these would both have to be 2. Could this be a 4? The answer again is no, because we can't go up to 8, so these would, well, that's not true. We can't have a 4. And we could have had a 1, so I made a mistake there. I was thinking of it as being inside of its own region. It's not. This could definitely be a 1, because these could both be 2s, because they are not in the same region. This can't be a 3, though, because we can't put a 6 on either of those. Okay. Now there's got to be something else kind of poking its head into here. That might not have been the place to look, per se. Kind of want to look at this, but I don't know it's going to give me too much for the in-between lines. Because what we can do is we can find, like this stretch right here. We know these have to be 4 different numbers. They can't be 1 or 9, because you can't put a 1 or a 9 on an in-between line. But all that really does is tell us that, you know, this could be as low as, 4? These could be like 5, 6, 7, and 8, and give us a 9 up here. So it doesn't really get us down. I mean, one thing we could look at as on this V is we know it's a 5, so it has to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. And as I just said, it can't have a 1 on it, which means this can't have a 4 on it. So we know we have a fairly low number, which is going to tell us that we have, you know, a very low number on one of these. You know, man, I got something in my throat. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Let's take a look at that, because that actually can give us a little bit something on thermo. If this is a 1, this would have to be a 9, so that clearly doesn't work, so this can't be a 4. If this is a 2, this could be an 8, could be a 7, could be a 6, so those do work. Do we have any other digits? Well, no, because this digit could technically be anything. If I'm looking at this 18 line, if this were a 1, we could still get up to, well, it probably can't, but if we just look at the logic of this 18 and this between line number, this could still be the low 1. These could be 9 and 7, technically. But that doesn't really work because the other clues that are jumbled in here, you know, if these were 9 and 7, well, this digit couldn't be 9 or 7 because it's on a Kropki dot. So I don't know if we can really use that information to whittle this down. Doesn't seem like that would be the best place to do it. Can we maybe look at this little killer? Oh, sorry, that's a sandwich, not little killer. These are little killers. This is a sandwich. Where we have to put a 1 and a 9 in here somewhere. We can't put a 9 on a Kropki dot, a black Kropki dot. We can't put a 9 on a V. We can't put a 9 on any of the in-between lines. But the rest of these digits could be 9s. So one of these, I'm going to mark that just for a second. One of those is a 9. And now we have to have a 1 somewhere nearby to this 9, because we only have up to 3. So actually it has to be 1 digit away, because we can't use another 1 to add to 3 to use 1, 2, because we've already used the 1. That's part of the sandwich bread that you use between the two. So the furthest away the 1 could possibly be is here, although it can't be a 1 because it's when it's on an in-between line. And if it was a 1 here, we'd force me to put a 9 here. So none of these can be 1s. We said this can't be a 1. So these digits, somewhere in this grouping of digits, we have to have the 1, the 9, and the 3. Which, while nice, I don't think really does much for us. Because if this was the 9, this would be the 1, this would be the 3. If this was the 9, this would be the 1, this would be the 3. If this is the 9, this is the 1, this is the 3. Something like that. So there's a bunch of options still available there. Now, can we do anything with, for a second there, oh, it's a circle, so it has to be odd, but that's a thermo circle. It's not that odd even. So we can't really do much with this. I mean, we know this one has to be even, so it has to be either 2 or 4, because it's also on a V, which means this has to be either 3 or 1. This one can be any odd digit, it appears at the moment. So what are we looking at here? If this was 6, 3, no, that breaks. Why did I think that could work? That's already 9. We can't put 1 and create 10, so this is not 6, 3. So let's get back to that. Get rid of the 6, 3. Get rid of a 3 here. This can't be 1. Well, this, no, it can't be, sorry. If it's 1, these are both 2s. If it's 2, these are both 1. And if it's 4, these are both 2. So all of those options do appear like they work. Now this can never be a 2. This can never be a 2. So it's forcing this to either be a 6 or a 7. Means this has to be a fairly high digit, 7, 8, or 9. And I'm not seeing any thing that's really telling me exactly where these need to be. So like I said, if this is a 1, this is a 2, so that would be 3 given. If it's 2, these are both 1s, it's still a 3 given. But if this is a 4, these are both 2s, that would be 6. Can we do that? If this is a 4, it forces both of these to be 2. That forces this to be 3 to make 5. So we've got 4, 5, 6. This can't be, well, it can't be 2, 3, or 4. It would have to be a 1, which does actually work. So that is possible. Okay, we can't quite rule that out just yet. So where's the next step in this line? And I still don't think this really does much for me. It can't be 1. It could be 2, 3, 4, or 5. Okay. Now, I feel like this in-between line is going to sort a lot of things out, but I don't know that we can use it just yet. What about this one? Because we've got this V up here, this can't be 1, 2. Because then this would have to be 3 and 4 that equals 7. It can't be 2, 4, because we wouldn't have anything to place here. So it's either 3, 6 or 4, 8. Which it could be either. Now, if it was 4, 8, that would tell us we have to have a 9 in one of these, which would be nice. That almost did something there, but not quite. Because like I said, if this was a 4, 8, one of these two would have to be a 9. We could rule this one out as being a 9. Because if it was a 9, it would have to have an 8 next to it. We've already put an 8 over here. So that would force the 9 to be down here, but there's nothing preventing that from happening. Okay. I think because there's so much going on in this puzzle, it's a little bit difficult to figure out where exactly you need to look, which is not a bad thing. It's just trying to pick that little needle out of the haystack, get things going. Oh wait, we've got a 4 down here, so that actually gives me some information. I didn't see that connection there. You probably all saw that a long time ago. This has to be a 2, so this has to be a 3, which forces these to be 4, 8, as I just discussed. So now we know there's an 8 on this. See, all that really did. See, all I had to do was just say something, and then it just pops out of thin air. This 4, 8 right now is a 4, 8. So therefore, we have an 8 on the in-between line, which means we need to have a 9 at one of the endpoints. We just said that this can't be a 9 because that would force that to be an 8. So this is the 9. Now, we know this has to be less than 4, but it can't be 2 or 3 because of these. Because this is the lowest digit right now we have on this in-between line is 4. So this actually just has to be 1, which forces this to be 2 and this to be 8. We've put another 8 up on this between line, but at the moment that's not all useful. And now this is actually probably the most useless the numbers that we could have gotten for this between line and digits, because it just says that every digit can be on this between line, other than 1 and 9, obviously. But so now that we have that, what do we run with next? We could look at this one. Yeah, that'll probably work. It's not going to give us anything dead set, but it's going to tell us what this pair is. This black Kropki Dot can't be 1, 2. First off, because it's on a in-between line, and secondly, because there's a 2 here. can't be 2, 4 for the same reason there's a 2 here and there's a 4, 8 over here. And obviously it can't be 4, 8 because there's 4, 8 there, so this has to be 3, 6. There isn't anything pointing at it just yet because we haven't gotten there. So we know we have a 9 already on this 18. So we somehow have to do, we have to create 9 here between these two digits. It seems like there's a lot of ways that might work, but because of this weird interaction, I think it befits us to try to look at it and see what they are. So we can do 8, 1, 7, 2, 6, 3, and 5, 4. Obviously, that's a ton of different ways to do it. Now, if this was an 8, it would force this to be, well, we can't have 5 or 7 on here. Let's start there. Those can't be 5 or 7, so these can't be 4 or 2. This can't be a 1 because it would force this to be a 9, and we have nothing on the Kropki dot, and there's a 9 there. If this was a 3, it would force this to be a 7. Again, we can't do that on a Kropki dot. 5 can't ever be on an X because you'd have to be 5, 5. 6 would work with 4. 7 would work with 3. And 8 would work with 2. So those are some options. Now we can look over here and say this can't be a 4. If this was a 6, it would force this to be 3 and 7, but that doesn't work because we've got a 3 here. So this is not 6. This is 8. This would be 4, 6. That works. If this is 3, that forces this to be 6. But then this would have to be a 4, which we don't have an option for. So this is not 3. This is 2. We could do 4, 6. Yeah, this is 1. This would be 2. And 8. Those would work. So 8, 4, 6. This can't ever be the 7, right? Because if this is 7, this has to be 3. Yeah, so we got it down to a few things here. Does this 9 see anything in here? Not really. How about the 2 and the 3 up here? No, not really. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any other fairly obvious Sudoku digits. So we've got 2 digits that are consecutive plus 2 more should equal 17. Doesn't really do a lot for me. Let's just type these in so we have them there. If this is 1, this is 2. If this is 2, this would have to be 4. It can't go down to the 1. And if this is 8, this has to be 4. So that's a 2, 4 right there. 2, 4. I'm not seeing any. Oh, wait, this 4 right here would have given us this 8 and 4. It doesn't do a ton for us just yet, I don't think. It gets rid of an 8 here, which gets rid of a 7 here, and this 4 has to be consecutive, and it can't go down to a 3, so it has to be a 5. So that gives us a 5 here. That removes a 5. That 5 gives us a 5, so there we go. This has to be 6, this has to be 7. What else? That's still 8 or 9. There has to be a 5 in one of these two, and it can't be there, so this is 5. This is either 8 or 9. What else do we have? So this could be 1, 4, 3, or 2, 3, 4. So this can never be a 2. Yeah, that can't be a 2, so we can take that out. So we get ourselves a 3, 4 pair across here, although that doesn't really rule anything out just yet. Where else can we go? Where can a 9 go? In this box. Can't go in any of those, so it has to be in one of these. And that's pointing down here, so it gets us the 8 and the 9. And that 8 gives us the 2 and the 3 and the 4. 4 gives us the 3 and the 7, and this has to be a 2. This is not a 2. So this has to be Yeah, it has to be a 2 as well, because it either goes up to 4, which has to get back to 2, or goes down to 1, has to get back up to 2, so that is 2. That 2 gives us a 3. That gives us a 6 and a 3. Now we're starting to make a little bit of progress. Are we to the realm of basic Sudoku yet? This has to be 1, so this is 9. Let's take a quick look at it. Well, it gives us a little bit of help. We know 1s can't be any of those. It can't be on the in-between line, so it has to be on here. So this has to be a 1-9 pair. Now, this circle is the sum of its arrow. And there's only 1 digit, so it has to be the same digit. So this is 1 or 9 as well. These 2 digits have to be, what are we looking at, 6 and 7, and this has to be odd, correct? Gray circles are odd, so this is 7, this is 6. These 2 digits have to be from 5 and 7, so this is 5, this is 7. We now know what these 2 digits can be. They are 2 and 8. We've got a 2 here, so we've got an 8 and a 2. That palindrome 2 gives me a 2 and a 3. Therefore, this is a 3. Now we've got a 3 here, so these 2 have to be the 1-9 pair. As we were saying earlier for the sandwich, this is a 1-9 pair. This is forced to be a 7. This, what can it be? Well, it can't be 1-9 because it would kill off this thing. It can't be 2-8. It can't be 3-7. So it has to be 6-4. We don't have anything saying exactly what that has to be. But if this is a 6-4-10, this has to also be a 6-4-10. So let's put those in. We get a 4-6 pair, which gives us a 1. This has to be 8 or 9, and it can't be 9 because we have a 1-9 pair here. So this is 8. This is no longer 8. So the 8 has to be in one of these 2, and it can't be here because if this was 8, this would either have to be 7 or 9, and both are taken. So this is 8. That forces this to be 2, this to be 1. Okay, what's next in line? This is either 1 or 9, although that's not determined just yet, but it does give us the 1-9 pair here. We know that these have to be from 5 and 9, and the 9 cannot be on there, so this is the 9. This is the 5. This has to be consecutive, so that's an 8. Now we know what these 2 digits are. I'm kind of skipping around because there's a lot of stuff going on right now, but these have to be 5 and 7 in this column. And there's a 7 here, so this is 5, this is 7. Now we know this cage has to equal 17, so we've got 8, 13, so this has to be the 4, which is consecutive with the 5. That gives us our 6, 4, 6. This is a given, which is 9. These 2 are 4 and 5. Do we have anything looking at them? No, we don't. This is forced to be a 4 or 5 in this row. We have everything except for 4s and 5s because that's a pair of 1-9, so this is 4 or 5. Now, can this ever be a 4? We've got 3 already. We could put a 1 here. So the answer is yes. Could it ever be a 5 is the next question. We've already got 3. To make 5, we'd have to put a 2 here. That can't happen. So this is 1. And this is 4. And this is 5. And this is 4. This now becomes 9 and 1, 9, 9, 1, and 1. Those are all beautiful. These 2 together have to be 6 and 9. Clearly the 6 has to go here to equal to 9. These 2 need a 5 and a 7. We've got a 5 here, so 5 and 7. And we're down to 6 and 8 in here. I don't see that being finished yet. We might get to this 44 here in a second. But let's kind of roll with what we've got. So we need a 1 somewhere in this row, and it can't be here, both by the in-between line and by that. So this is the 1. This is now forced to be an 8, which gives us a 2. That gives us a 6 and an 8. This 2 has to be on a black Kropki, so it has to be a 4 because it can't be the 1. This has to be 7 in this row. This box will finish with a 4. This column's going to finish with a 6. This has to be consecutive with 8, and it can't be 9, so it's 7. This then has to be the 5. So we're not ever going to use this 44 here, it looks like. But that might just be the way I solved it. And that was a 3 there, and then this one has to be the 6. And unless I've messed this up, it appears to be done. So let's check it. Looks good as far as I can tell. There we go. So that was the correct solution. Yeah. Good puzzle. Lots of stuff going on. So you really had to kind of focus and figure out where you could make some deductions. This 44 didn't do anything. I never had to use it for anything. So like I said, it might have just been the way that I solved it, and for somebody else who came through and solved it, this 44 would be critical, but it just didn't factor in for me at all. But overall, excellent puzzle. Junk Drawer by Thymalfasin. Had a blast. It all adds up. Hope you all enjoyed that as well, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.